All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another great video. And today people, do I have a great vehicle for you today. I'm going to be telling you about the remade, redesigned 2022 Shelby Cobra and what a vehicle this is. Now, before we get into the fact that one of the greatest sports cars ever has just been brought back, let me bring you back to the man who was Carroll Shelby. And some of you may know this name now because they just made a movie starring Matt Damon with him, Ford versus Ferrari, and some of you may recognize the name now. But the real life Carroll Shelby he was a very enigmatic and interesting person. He was a racer who later became an engineer, and he was quite literally the epitome of everything that is American. He was loud, he was brash, rude, and completely unfiltered in every way imaginable. He was a cowboy who somehow had made a lot of money doing cars. And nobody will ever forget when he teamed up with Ford's racing team, and they decided they were going to go beat Ferrari, hence the movie, if you guys have seen that. And nobody will ever forget the moment when Carroll Shelby walked right up to Enzo Ferrari, and I'm going to give you guys the edited version of what he said. But he walked right up to him with his cigarette, blew it in his face, and yelled in his face, live TV and everything. He yelled, "Your rear end is mine!" And then walked right back to Ford and was determined to beat them. Yeah, that was Carroll Shelby. Real fun guy, wasn't he? Anyway, his name lives on primarily through the Cobra. Now, he made several vehicles that were put up for consumer use, but the Cobra was really the only one that mattered because it was a work of art and it was American engineering at its best. And actually, in a lot of ways, he managed to input his own personality into that car. Like him, the Cobra was loud, it was brash, unfiltered. No, really, it had horrible emissions and got horrible MPGs. But it was memorable. We all remembered it because, again, it was like a work of art and probably one of the most fun vehicles ever and represented a great victory for American racing. Problem is you can't get one today because only less than 20 of them exist in the world, and the last one that sold went for roughly $10 million. Yeah. Good luck getting one of those. That's what company Superformance has to say. And they have recreated the Cobra in stunning 1960s-esque detail, but they've put a little twist on the vehicle. Now, for the first time, you'll be able to get it as many as you want. Superformance will make. There's no limited quantity this time. But instead of being called the Shelby Cobra, because they can't use that name, they call it the Superformance Cobra Mark IIIe. Because this Cobra is electric. And I know, I can hear you from all the way over there. You're already getting up and I can see the spit hitting the screen and everything. Apostasy, you yell. This can't be electric. It should never be electric. Look, just calm down for a second and let's get something out of the way. Electric cars are the future. Get over it, really. And this car represents everything that makes the electric future so grand and great. And that's what I want to tell you about. Now, it retails. It's not out just yet. It will be out this fall, and it will retail. It's already being pre-ordered for a whopping $180,000. Look, that's staggering. That's incredibly expensive. Most people can't afford that. I understand that. But look, when you realize that the last Cobra went for about $10 million, $180,000 sounds downright affordable. It's been recreated in perfect detail, exactly the way it was in 1960, apart from the electric motors. Now, they haven't finalized the range just yet, but they said it will get right at 200 to 250 miles of range. Now, that's pretty neat. So you got more than enough range, but let's just talk about what really makes it great. This car is going to be fun. Because for one, it's a roadster car. Barely will fit two people. It's really more of a one-person vehicle car. It doesn't have a top, just so you know. It's just got that little windshield to just cover your eyes from the bugs and the debris. But guys, I wouldn't drive this on a freeway or anything, but I can just look at it and imagine that if you went on a back road somewhere, this thing would be absolutely delightful to drive. Not only because you're so close to the road and you'll be able to feel all that wind to just have all that great time. Let's talk about its secret weapon, instant torque. And listen to me. If you're someone who's resistant to the idea of electric cars, don't be. Instant torque will be the rallying cry of car guys of the future. No more having to worry about gear changes. There's no, okay, you got to wait for this RPM to get your power. This bad boy makes 450 horsepower, and all of that glorious power is available to you on tap. Your foot pedal will determine exactly how much power you get out of this. And just watching it in action, this thing just takes off like a go-kart and looks like an absolute blast. And according to Superformance, that's the idea, is to bring back the Cobra in a new way and make it more fun to drive than ever before. That's pretty great. Now, granted, you won't have that big, loudy, throaty V8 sound that the old one had, and that really is too bad. I mean, the old one was loud enough to blow your neighbor's windows out. That is too bad. But again, people, there are trade-offs. But when you get things like instant torque, 450 horsepower available on tap, being so close to the road, you're basically in a glorified go-kart, but way more comfortable, then you can kind of understand what makes the Cobra so great. And by the way, now you don't have to just stick with blue. Now you can get multiple colors. Superformance will paint in any color you want. So you can make it your own on top of that. If you're someone who's a car guy, who's nostalgic for old cars, but doesn't have $10 million lying around to go buy them, the Superformance Cobra Mark IIIe might be just for you. But even if you can't afford it, hey, I'm in the same boat too, don't worry about it. The point of this car is that electric cars don't have to be these boring little eco-friendly hippie type cars. They can be great fun to drive. And that's what this vehicle represents. And trust me, with the success I predict this car will have, there will be many, many imitators. And why not? Can you imagine having an original Corvette in electric form? Maybe an original Mustang or something like that? Guys, there's all kinds of great things that could come from this. So kudos to Superformance for doing this. I cannot wait to see what you guys do next. And thank you for bringing back one of the great American road cars.